Hey everybody, and welcome to the Gamers Armada review of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This is Robert here bringing the review, and I'm going to start off by saying that The Elder Scrolls V is definitely one of those games that if you plan to pick it up, be prepared not to be able to put it down. It's vast, it's huge, and there's so many things to do in it, and you'll spend tons of hours just traveling here. And there's even other interesting things to do, like fight an orc in his own village and try to become part of their bloodkin. The depth of this game is absolutely astounding. The amount of things you will always find yourself doing is just staggering. You'll go out of a town with more quests than you had before, and as you do those quests, you'll acquire more quests, and it just seems to snowball as you continue to traverse such a deep land. And there will always be something interesting to do. A lot of RPGs nowadays believe that content is nothing but busy work, as they send you from quest to quest or to do X, or almost like an MMO where you kill X amount of mobs and return it, and then you rinse and repeat. The land of Skyrim is in turmoil after the assassination of the king. The two groups, the Imperials and the Stormcloaks, are feuding over who should keep the throne. The Stormcloaks are trying to keep the Nords, the dominating race in Skyrim, while the Imperial are just trying to keep order with the king. Skyrim starts you off with you going towards your execution, as a prisoner, like most Elder Scrolls games, and as you'll see, running was no option. As you wait for your execution, you'll begin to see the similarities between the two groups, the Imperials and the Stormcloaks, because they will kill for whatever reason they deem fit. Luckily, well, maybe unluckily, for our protagonist, a dragon swoops down and destroys the city right before your execution, allowing you to escape from your very death. But in return, you're entered into this whole new conflict. The character creation in Skyrim is very deep, and not only in just the beginning character creation, but overall. The constellation system used for the leveling up is very interesting, but rather basic. As you see here, all the races you would expect from a regular Elder Scrolls game are here. Everything from the Nord to the Argonian are here and fully customizable to your heart's content. Male or female, black or white, lion or kitty, whatever you feel like playing, it's definitely there and ready for you to make. And its leveling up system is quite different from other RPGs, but very similar to the Elder Scrolls series, that you don't level up stats, you level up what you do. So the more you wear heavy armor, the more you walk around in it, and the more you fight in it, the better you will become at wearing heavy armor. The more that you swing around a big axe and do lots of damage with two-handers, the better you become at two-handers. If you like sneaking around, well, you can just crouch around and steal and pickpocket, and you'll become better at that. Skyrim is a very open game to how you want to play it. There's no real set boundaries. Another addition to Skyrim are the shouts. The shouts are power given to you through dragon souls that you'll absorb as you slay dragons. Now, these shouts are actually the language the dragon speaks as they use their abilities. When you engage a dragon, you're really not fighting it through brute force, if you will. You're fighting it in a war of words. And don't be fooled, these shouts aren't just words of empowerment or encouragement. They're words that actually do things like push back or set people on fire. So really, you're learning all about the language of ass kicking. Speaking of voices, Bethesda made sure that the dragons weren't the only voices you were going to want to listen to. They definitely stepped up their game in Skyrim with voice acting. However, that's not to say it's the best. Compared to Oblivion and maybe even some of the Fallout games, the voice acting is much better and has a much better cast. Actually, I do believe the original voice from Wonder Woman is one of the characters, and maybe even Johnny Young Bosch, if I remember correctly, is in this game. But that's not to say all the voice acting is good.
I fear for the security of the very land if it should break free.
Now, the dialogue in the game is still one of its shortcomings. The characters seem lively, but I don't know, just the writing in general seems kind of flat. Which is kind of weird in a game where shouting is one of the biggest and best options. The cities in Skyrim are extremely vibrant, and there's always something to do. Little odds and ends jobs you can take, and the landscapes are absolutely breathtaking. You'll traverse snowy mountains and rough plains, and you'll even go through a tropical-looking forest here and there. But it's always something eye-catching that will just make you stop and look around. It isn't just the world that makes a great ambience, it's the soundtrack, and the immersion, and just everything. Bethesda's done a great job making this just one of the absolute hardest games to dig yourself out of once you put yourself in. Like I said earlier, it's just all the little things that they have packed in there that just make for a fun, immersive experience. You'll keep finding new and discovering new things every time you walk past something. The world's fantasy setting really adds something new to the game, and it's really eye-catching to look around. The map size of Skyrim's absolutely gargantuan. This is about 10 hours in, and you'll see I've only found a little bit of the area, and I'm just beginning to scratch the surface. The combat in Skyrim is an overhaul of Oblivion. It takes a lot of elements from Fallout 3, as you saw there, like the kill cam shots, but it still feels lacking in some areas, and the AI, as to be expected with a Bethesda game, is somewhat disappointing. Oh, and one word of advice, don't mess with trolls. The only thing you'll get with messing with trolls is, well, a bunch of dead. If you can look past the somewhat flawed AI and the little bit boring combat, even though there's now dual wielding spells and swords, which is pretty awesome, you'll find one of the most immersive and impressive games to date. Oh, and let's not forget, fighting dragons has to be one of the coolest things in video game history. Just the music, the atmosphere, and just the overall destruction the dragons bring with themselves is extremely impressive. Be ready to sink so much time this holiday season into Skyrim if you haven't already, and for those poor souls that have already begun to play, well, all I can say to you is good luck trying to pry yourself away from this masterpiece. Overall, my recommendation for this game is buy it. It's fascinating, it's fantastic, it's endearing, it's a classic. It's one of those games that come along every once in a while that everybody's got to play at least once. Every type of gamer can respect this game. Unless you don't like fun, I can't imagine why not to recommend this game to you. It's great.
We, your unworthy servants, give praise.
It's good to be king.